Javed Akhtar Saab, stop being pretentious. Your love for Marathi literature, Marathi tradition, Marathi culture was nothing but just a facade. And it came out only because Raj Saab Thackeray was there on the podium. Because we all know that in your glorious career of 50 years, how much you cared for it. Hi friends, today we are going to be talking about Javed Akhtar Sahab. This is nothing to do with his films or his career, film career, but it has got everything to do about one event which was held by MNS, that's Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, at Shivaji Park, Mumbai, which was a literary fest, and they had called a lot of non-political luminaries, and Javed Akhtar Saab was also one of the guests over there. At the outset, let me tell you that, like all, I have huge respect for Javed Akhtar Sahab for firstly his contribution to Hindi cinema, his intellect, his talent is non-parallel. It's there to be seen. The famous Salim Javed duo, the kind of films that they did. Later on, when Javed Saab turned lyricist and he gave some fantastic poetry in Hindi cinema. So all of that is too well known and legendary. But having said all that, today we are going to be discussing about what his views were and what did he speak about as far as this particular event of MNS was concerned. I would like to call out Javed Saab that he was completely being pretentious at that event, and whatever that he was speaking was pretty spurious. He was talking about Marathi culture, Marathi literary culture, and things like that. He also spoke about how Maharashtrians need to preserve the legacy, and probably Maharashtrians haven't preserved the legacy the way it should have been, or even probably the governments have not done enough in terms of what needs to be done to felicitate all the literary and the great Marathi figures. But Javed Saab's speech was more of a script that he is very good at. What was out of place in this entire thing was he being very pretentious. His false love, empathy, or affection for Marathi language was very obvious and visible. And why do I say that? Look, here is a personality who has been around in the film industry for last almost 50 odd years. And as I mentioned earlier, he has had a great run, a great contribution. But now let's understand and put this in perspective. Javed Saab, right from Janjeer or Diwar or Dawn or Shakti or Shan, they were all super duper hits. In how many of those films was your hero, the lead hero or the lead heroine, that's the female lead, a Maharashtrian? Please let us know that which of your films. I can understand as far as Sholay is concerned because it was set in North India. So you can argue that, Sholay couldn't have had a Maharashtrian. That's fair. But what about Don? You had Ye Bombay Nagariya to Dekh Babua. So you had a Don over there. You had a Shan. Their entire shooting we knew was in Mumbai. Janjeer, everything was in Mumbai. And I can name many more films like this. So, Javed Saab, why didn't any of your leads be named after a Maharashtrian? Never ever you did it in your entire career. Not for once. So, now when you say that, oh my God, now, such a tradition, such a glorious tradition, I am in Maharashtra and I owe it to Mumbai and Maharashtra, but it never for once got reflected in your work. In the same speech, he mentioned about the great Marathi writer, Vijay Tendulkar Sahab, and he went on to mention that he came to Mumbai and he had some Maharashtrian friends, and they took him to see the play of Vijay Tendulkar Saab, and he got completely floored. Now, I've been following Hindi films for a while. Javed Saab, in none of your interviews, and audiences can correct me if I'm wrong, in none of your interviews for the last 50 years, not for once, I have basically seen you praising Vijay Tendulkar Sahab. You never mentioned Vijay Tendulkar Sahab in any of your interviews for the last 50 years. Just because you are at an MNS festival and Raj Thackeray Sahab was sitting right there, you now remembered Vijay Tendulkar. And if that was so, then why didn't you try and work with Vijay Tendulkar Sahab when you were at the zenith of your career? If you were so inspired by Vijay Tendulkar Sahab, you also have to completely accept that you haven't done anything, one bit, in your film career to even promote a Marathi artist. How many times in your films was Nana Patekar there, or a Vikram Gokhale there, or a Ravindra Mahajani there, or a Ashok Saraf over there, was right there at that festival? How many times did you even bother to cast them? Please tell me. Tell me your films where you cast them. How many times even you thought about, when you were a lyricist, to get somebody like a Hridaynath Mangeshkar or a Sudhir Phadke, Babuji? How many times did you even feel about it? Never. So, Javed Saab, and don't argue that you don't have a say. You had a say, Javed Saab. You and Salim Saab, the best story, screenplay, script writers ever in the history of Hindi films, and who had a maximum dominance as far as a writer duo was concerned. You were asking more remuneration than probably what director was getting, and that is the legend. But Javed Saab, don't take people for a ride, and probably even MNS somewhere as an organization needs to understand that when you make a literary fest like that and you basically stud it with a lot of Bollywood personalities. So we really don't know what was the relevance of them as far as Marathi poetry was concerned. But nevertheless, that's a different discussion and I don't want to get into it. The whole idea is only to call out Javed Saab. Javed Saab, we love you. Javed Saab, we love you for your contribution. But please, for God's sake, don't try and portray something which you yourself have never believed in or never practiced. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching the video.